Good. Good to be back out on the grass with the guys and feeling good.
I don't know if we've gotten the chance to talk to you since the injury. Just what was that process like right before the playoffs, having to go through that?
Yeah, it was obviously really disappointing personally being able to miss that and miss the opportunity to go play in that game. But as far as the process is how it's gone since, it's been really smooth. Since the diagnosis, there's been no surprises from the morning we took the MRI to going into the surgery, coming out of the surgery, and then everything since then. There's been no surprises. They've done a really good job diagnosing what it was, how to treat it, and what are the steps going to be to get me back full strength and if not better.
Has there been a timetable when the doctors say go, you can go full blast in terms of training and lifting?
Yeah, that's probably a better question for KO or Tyler, but I would say from a personal perspective, I've taken the approach of like, let's get this right and let's do it right each step of the way, and there'll be enough time. We're all confident there'll be enough time, but in terms of am I 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks ahead? I'm not really even getting into all that with them. It's more of, is this stage we're at right now, are we doing this right? And so far we have, and every step's been really good, really smooth, and I'm happy with where I'm at.
Do you think it'll be easy to trust right away, like when you're back full go, or do you think it's going to take a couple of times out on the field?
I don't know, I've never been through it, never had this one before, but
I guess like the mental hurdle.
yeah, up until this point, it hasn't been hard to trust with the new things we've integrated. It's felt really good. So if how it's gone up till now is any indication of how it'll go in the future, I'll be pretty happy.
Brian, when we talked to Garrett a little while ago, he was saying like just going through the process leading up to free agency, how he had talked to you and like you obviously wanted to kind of remain neutral and just support him, but like now having him back, just how important is that to you personally, but also the group?
Yeah, it's huge for me personally. He's somebody I've leaned on for 4 years. The last 4 years, I basically ask him what to do every play anyways. But he's, our communicator up front. He's the guy who puts everybody in the right places. I think he's played at a really high level for a long time, and I was really happy that the team rewarded him in the way they did because he certainly earned it and certainly deserves it, every penny. So really happy, and he's my dog, so just happy to have him back on a personal level. But yeah, it's really good for our group. It's really good for our team, and I think he'll step up as a leader not only in our O-line room this year, but for our whole team as well.
You gotta have somebody to beat in golf too, right?
Yeah. About an hour and 20 minutes from now.
Where are you playing?
Southview.
Nice. Garrett also said that he thinks the continuity that you're bringing back will kind of help this offensive line group kind of even take another step. What are the practical ways that having that familiarity with 11 out of 12 guys back will help you this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. Starting with Ed, everybody says taking the year 1 to year 2 leap, the jump from year 1 to year 2 is the biggest, and it certainly was for me my rookie year. I felt like it was for CD. So we're hoping that that's the same for him. And even just in meetings now in the film room, when we're sitting next to each other, like we're starting to think the same way about blocks. We're like, last year was, hey, this is how I see this, and he says, okay, and we try to meet in the middle somewhere. And now we're starting to see things the same way and really understand the deeper levels of the different blocks and schemes we're running. And not only that, but having the same play caller for 2 years in a row is something that hasn't really happened around here on offense. So having that combined with all the guys back, I'm really excited. I think we're going to have a really good group.
Brian, what was the thought process like for you? I'm sure when you first hear Achilles, you kind of assume the worst when you hear it's an avulsion fracture and it's not quite as serious as that. Was there a sense of relief there? What went through your mind when you go through the whole diagnosis process?
Well, it's hard because it's immediately the morning after the Green Bay game, you're like, oh shit, like here we go, But the more I talked to the docs here and everything that I was told here checked out with everybody outside of here that I also consulted with, everybody was aligned. And so that really helped, made me feel more comfortable. From Tyler and Uriah, Dr. Coetzee at TCO did my surgery. The trainer I'm working with, Matt Duhamel now, everything's been really aligned and clearly communicated to me. And it's matched up from the information I received at the beginning from outside sources, just like how everybody does anytime there's a major injury. So in that place, it was more like no time to dwell on what it's going to be like. Let's just, like, who cares what your situation is? Like, you got to make the most of it. So it was more like, all right, like, so what? What's next? Like, nothing you can do except get it fixed and come back as well as you can. So.
Brian, how about year 1 to 2 and just in the system for the entire offense? Are you already maybe seeing some ways in which people are just that much further ahead and kind of knowing what's going on?
Yeah, I think so. We've kind of talked about in the O-line room, like, based on specific schemes, the linebackers might fall back a little bit more, or they might play front side a little bit more based on different things that they see with their eyes. And that's we're talking about that differently this year than we were last year, where we were talking about, this is this play. This is who you have on this play, now run it. Now, this year, the next step is, okay, what does the defense see? How is this different from the other scheme that we run that looks similar, and how does it look different to them? So how are they going to react? And, like, what's the next level of understanding for us? I don't know if that answers the question, but there's a deeper understanding of the intricacies on our end.
Trying to piggyback off that, it's that emotional and nonverbal shorthand that you have with guys that you know, and that can take, and not only the O-line, but an offense to another level. That's important too, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'd say probably by the end of last year, we had so many made-up words that we were calling for stuff, and that now they've stuck and become part of the language that we use now, and that the quarterbacks know, and the running backs, and everybody's tied into. So our, stupid little code words that we come up with on the line, like, everybody's starting to know them, and coaches are starting to know them, so they're really starting to become part of the process in our system.
Bro, what is it like to be on Schroeder's team?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw him a couple of weeks before he signed here, and it's really cool. Obviously we grew up together, grew up playing football. We've trained together for God knows how many years, and I've known his wife since I was 3 years old, and it's really fun. But it's a feel-good story, yeah. But he's going to help our football team, and that's the most important piece, is that the guy's a baller, and I've seen what he can do because I've seen him. I mean, I tell people all the time, he's the one who taught me how to be serious about football, and taught me how to work out hard, and taught me how to eat right. And he was kind of who I was looking up to in high school, even though we were the same age. Like, he kind of set the standard, and I've made sure to tell him that too. But I'm excited. He's my boy, but he's also a really good player.
Ryan, when the team drafts new guys and they're talking about, like, either hearing good things about this team from other players that they know, or, like, referencing their top 30 visits, and, like, there were at least 2 guys that said they really, like, fell in love with the culture here and the vibe here, like, what does that mean to you as a veteran that they sense that right away?
I mean, it's encouraging, right? Like, you want everybody on our team to feel good about being here. You want it to be known as a place that guys want to come play, where guys are able to be themselves, have personality, express themselves, and have fun playing football. Everybody wants to have fun playing football, and we certainly do that here, and it's cool. But I hope that when people come here, they feel it even more, and that we don't just say, oh, this is a cool place to play. We keep working on it and trying to make it better, and trying to keep elevating that, just like everything else.
Couple more for Brian.
Brian, when you talk about Garrett Bradbury, in 2021, he went through some kind of tough times, and last year seemed to have his best season. I guess, what have you seen as far as the resilience? I guess I'm curious about the perspective of resilience for offensive linemen, because you guys only get noticed when you get beat. So it seems like that would be an important trait.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really pay attention, and he doesn't, just knowing him, pay attention to what outside people kind of have to say about our game. His game, my game, our O-line's game. But I think having Coop last year really helped him take a next step, or he does a really good job. And there was things right away. He came in not only with Garrett, but with me and CD, where he's like, hey, first day, I've watched this. This is a tendency you did all the last 3 years. Like, this needs to get fixed or you're going to get beat. So him coming in and being able to coach us hard from the jump, I think really helped. I can't speak for Garrett personally on how he feels about that, but I would say it certainly helped me, and I think it's helped a lot of people individually. Just what he's brought to the table, him and Justin Riscotti.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
We'll have a kid next.